I'll try that again. I'm Halcyon here with Angelo. And we
Hey,
are here for our annual check-in. And hello, this is our second annual check-in. Last year we had a conversation about our differing perspectives on a trip to Black Rock Desert during Burning Man week. And I really appreciated the opportunity to have a civil discourse on it. And I know that I think we both came away with a little better understanding of the other person, and then we each did exactly what the hell we wanted to do.
yes, I believe so.
Yeah. And so as this year is feels like a very different year, at the same time lots of similarities, and I just wanted to kind of check back in and ask you some questions about last year and this year and where your head's at. You cool with that?
Of course, yeah, super excited.
Yay.
Did you want like a theme song intro for this? It's gonna
If
be the
you've got
battle of the
one.
century. Hold on, let's see if we can do it. John Halcyon, Angelo Taylor for the second semi-official, unofficial debate. There we go. That's all I have. Okay, yeah, okay. We're official.
Wow.
Sorry, I just wanted to be weird for a second. Epic.
Oh, thank you. And I think that as long as we can stay in alignment with a safe space for weird, then I think we're okay. or a dangerous space for weird. So I guess first, without just, can you share like your personal experience in the Black Rock Desert last year? And
are we talking in reference to the non-burn thing that happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure. It was a wild time. Wish you were there. It was interesting because the conversation you and I had seemed to have spread a little more than I anticipated. Upon arrival, the BLM, I would say that night, the BLM, the sheriff's department, both found me on Playa and knew my name and introduced themselves. They said, Angelo, we saw that debate. It was really cool. No, it was very interesting. Even Mark Hall, the field manager of the BLM, came and knew me by first name. So you made me famous, man. I just want to say thanks. Kind of infamous, awesome. Really.
Now I'm even more nervous about heading out this year. So what I'm making the assumption, are you planning on going this year?
Yes, I'm actually gonna go for Memorial Day weekend, do Playa, and this non-burn thing that seems to be organizing itself in an interesting way.
So let me ask you about that. What I've heard varying degrees of excitement and disdain for this interesting organizing that's happening. What are your thoughts on the organizing that's happening?
I'm going to personally keep my distance from the organizing side of things for a couple of reasons. Last year, I can confirm that it was a wild time at the more organized side of the desert. It was really fun, but there was a bit of an element of danger that was, it's not there at Burning Man. But in terms of organizing, I'm a bit conflicted with it because if you get too organized, you have to register with the BLM, and that's like, I believe the rules are if you have a camp of 50 or above, you have to register with the BLM. And all these camps are clustering together, so it's like this essentially semi-organized or pseudo-organized little bunch of permits. I don't know, but that just seems like it's unnecessary to go and enjoy the desert for me personally. This is, I recognize that I'm an individual that could, I have most of my own camping stuff and I don't need a themed camp per se. I have the art car and I don't really need that level of organization. Makes sense that people are doing it, but feels unnecessary. And it sounds like there's going to be these Playa rules that will develop out of it. And I'm not a fan.
So I think one of the reasons for organizing is because of what you just said, that the danger element. And like one of the things that I've heard as a big concern is, and one of the reasons for grouping people closer together is because of last year. It sounded like it was definitely a drive around experience. Mm-hmm. And if you've got 10,000 people driving their cars around, that the likelihood of a accident, goes up dramatically.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I understand the reasoning for wanting to be together. I mean, there's things to look at, and you don't have to drive anywhere. But my personal experience last year, I ran into what is it? What we called it the shitty. It was the city, or the everyone themed camp over there, and there were people that were essentially telling us where you can and can't park your car, which is valid, but it got pretty aggressive and heated, and if you're going to make these kind of rules, you got to back it up with a permit, which they didn't have. So telling somebody you can't be on this playa because it's an art space, when there's there's no signs anywhere, but you have these arbitrary borders and stuff. There's nothing, there's no legal backing to it. Me, I'm all about the legality of the playa versus the the ethics and stuff. But yeah.
That's really interesting. I mean, because I guess my thought was that, what's the big deal if there's, playa rules that you don't have to. I mean, if you want to go to a greeter station or something, you can. If you don't have to. And if you want to, be in a little neighborhood, you can, and you don't have to. But what you're saying is that within people's groups, people established additional rules, or like kind of an enhanced social contract or expectation. And you're saying like, yeah, well, you can't impose that as a visitor to your area because it's not your area, and you can't follow any rules.
Yes. And I'm all, it was the way that things were done that turned that city into the shitty, and it came like the butt end of the joke, in my opinion. It was just like a very aggressive. They had mayors and then other self-appointed sub-mayors, and it just seemed like anybody who was under the influence started yelling at people. And it's a crazy time. We're all going through our thing, but
Yeah, no, I think I find this really fascinating, because I think that I totally understand the desire and the excitement about a return to a lawlessness, to it used to be better. Well, cool. This seems like it's a lot closer to how it used to be. My first year was 98, and it was still, at that point, it was a city. There were plenty of rules in 98. And so the I get excited. I like the organizing part. Like, to me, that's part of like the art of Burning Man, is like how we build these communities in the cities. And I also respect and I get that, like, for somebody else, that is repelling, and that they want to have the anarchy or the pure freedom. So I hope that like with conversations like this, that we can do so without the aggression and the yelling at each other.
Sure. Again, everybody was under the influence, so it's just like everybody's angry. Inhibitions are lowered. Yeah, no, I hear you on that. It's just kind of it's just kind of interesting that we're gonna go to the playa and then default to doing the exact same thing that we're like. It seems that a lot of people are kind of rebelling against, in a sense. And it's Burning Man the only way to do it, or we just literally can't think of anything else to do? Yeah, what it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
My feeling would be that it's during that week, it is the opportunity to kind of bring all the lessons of Burning Man without any of the have to's of Burning Man, or the kind of pressure of, if I don't do it right, I'm going to lose my placement next year, or the kind of fill out this form so that you can get your this, and so I like the idea of and I like the things that work in Black Rock City, and I would like to try to recreate them without the confines or the mandatory. It's kind of like, in our camp, like if there's people that are thirsty and we have water, like I love being able to figure out how to get them water. But if I have to get them water, like if I'm signed up for a shift and I have to work, it's more, it's just not fun. And I think that's the same thing with Burning Man. Like if you're free to do what you want, then you choose the altruistic often, or the gifting thing. If you have to do it, it doesn't feel as good.
That's what I kind of, let me gather my thoughts here. I really appreciated last year, because the people that went seemed to be like these hardcore burners. And, that's a debatable statement. But everybody there had all the stuff they needed to survive on their own. You seldomly ran into a sparkle pony. It was just, yeah, you would occasionally run into like the noob that was like, I need water. And I've been walking through the desert from a camp 3 miles away. They quickly learned a lesson, but it seemed like most of the people there were just like pretty self-reliant. I'm curious to see with this amount of organization that all these camps are doing, is there going to be some kind of mentality where like, oh, somebody's going to take care of me now,
Right.
or somebody's going to pick up my moop? These are the questions.
Totally. I think that's the danger. I think that's the total danger is, as you see more of a structure forming, does that make people relax their radical self-reliance a little bit with that kind of understanding, like, oh, well, somebody will help me if I. So can I ask you, like, what are some of the things that people should make sure that they are being radically self-reliant about? I mean, I know poop bucket is the one that everybody can't stop talking about. Is that as big a deal as it should be? And are there other things like that?
Some camps had porta potties. I would usually just go to Gerlach and go to Bruno's and like buy a meal and use the bathroom, stuff like that. Again, that probably wouldn't work as well with 20,000 people, but the bucket isn't really an issue. Like it's, get uncomfortable and use a non-toilet for once, it's not that bad. But yeah, if people are going, bring all your own stuff. I know people are limited with certain things, like you don't have a car that can handle all of that. That's where I think theme camps come into play. But yeah, it just feels like now that the burning, it not being Burning Man, this like we're not stuck in the desert. We could go other places. We could drive around. You have access to like infrastructure per se. I suppose you could argue, well, you don't want to go into towns and like, expose people. We're still in a pandemic, but I think we're past that point where the Gerlach and we'll just stick to Gerlach is not really having an issue with people coming and going to businesses and stuff. Yeah.
So last year,
go ahead.
So last year, there was the ability to go into town, get ice, get a meal, use a bathroom, and things like that. I would guess in terms of like the radical self-reliance for this year that it would be wise to advise people not to depend on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's Gerlach, like Bruno's and the Miners Cafe. There's a couple other ones. I mean, they're going to have limited resources themselves. Could you imagine 20,000 people ordering food every day? I mean, the business would boom, but I mean, there's the Empire store too, but again, limited resources. Bring all your own supplies, but you can leave and you can even drive to Reno if you're really ambitious. It's you're free to move about the playa. It's going to be a way wider experience.
So any tips or suggestions for being safe as people are driving around, in like the way you set up a camp or the way that you make sure that you don't get run over?
Yeah. I will acknowledge people were driving around the playa at incredible speeds. My car only goes 20 miles an hour, but you really can't see tents, even when they're like pretty well lit by themselves in the playa. My friend's camp did get run over by a car, and he was close to the major city. He had lights all around his camp, like really bright ones, ran right over his tent. He was on my air car, but there is an element of danger, which how do you safely run around the playa at night and not get hit by a car? You could have like your little sparkly lights, but then it calls in the question of these people driving at night, are they under the influence? It is a solid, you're going to have a legitimate opportunity to feel real danger. And that's what I can guarantee. It's thrilling, but I wouldn't let your child run around at night. That would be my advice.
Okay, that's super helpful and honest. What about bringing children? I have heard people say like, oh, this is the wrong year to bring kids out there.
Yeah. I if I'm gonna bring a child, I have a child myself. I'm leaving my child at home because I want to be, a child myself. I'm not gonna tell people what to do. It's the playa. I could recommend, if you're going to have a child, maybe, if you're gonna camp by yourself, having them in an RV at night might be the safest bet. And maybe camping in the city and stuff would be a good idea. But Yeah, I don't know. There was a, I guess I will highlight on a story. We went back out in October, and there was a couple that had brought their toddler, and they went out and partied, at night, and this toddler woke up in the RV and left and was running around in the dark and came up to
Ooh.
one of our camps and had been out for a while. And we had to wrangle this child and kind of watch, and where are the parents at? The
Had to figure.
sheriff came the next day and was not stoked about that, not stoked at all, because that's one of those things where you got to report that, because that's just not acceptable. There are people driving around. This poor child is like running in the desert and could potentially die of exposure.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a disappointing kind of scenario right there.
So are you, how about, are there any, how different is it if you like approach a camp of people? Is it like at Burning Man where you can kind of, it's okay to just say hello and what are you guys drinking and what's up? Or is it a little bit more, kind of separate there?
Yeah, I think every camp that I visited was super stoked. There were multiple camps that had open bars. They were theme camps essentially. I seldom found any camp that wasn't happy to hang out and say hi. I think everybody there was like kind of under this unspoken rule. And again, I can only really speak for myself and my observation that nobody really minded. We were just happy to see each other in a way. There, I did feel like there was a more sketch vibe, to be honest. Like I guess an example would be like there's this duo that seemed, they drove up on the playa to my camp really late at night. They're like, we drove all the way from Michigan nonstop to go to Burning Man. Is this the event? And they were obviously misinformed, but they were just. I feel like you could really feel when somebody's kind of like out of the element and making you feel sketchy. Or I felt sketchy.
Yeah, I've heard that
People
from
will
other
steal your
people.
stuff.
I heard that
People
from other
might steal
people.
their stuff.
Okay, that's good. I mean, uh,
I would never leave your camp without leaving somebody there to hang out, as wild as that sound, because I feel like people like steal your stuff.
oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know. I mean, that there
Yeah.
was, I'd heard from another person that like kind of like to have a plan, as a camp for if people show up that don't make you feel comfortable, because it definitely happened last year to a number of people.
I know an uncomfortable opinion here, but everybody has guns at camps now. Everybody. Yeah. No, it's not. I'm not making threats here, but it's like, there is it. I would like to assume that every camp probably has multiple guns, so that's kind of like this weird Wild West safety vibe I get.
Right.
Yeah, that's the uncomfortable element that you're going to be confronted with, John. Yeah, us Californians, guns are scary.
Yeah,
But I know in all seriousness, it's like it really has this wild West vibe, where you can get run over by a car. Would you get shot? Very unlikely. But yeah, there wasn't a huge police presence. I will note. I think that BLM grossly underestimated how many people were going to be there. But again, it was fine.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how this will change this year.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I'm super appreciate you talking, because like there's some things that I felt like I had a handle on, and there's some things that I feel like I have not heard talked about. I do. I mean, I have a better sense now of kind of the degree of wild that is just to be expected. And yeah, little fear on the back of my neck as you're talking.
I would say it was, I shit you not, that was the best non-burn I've ever been to in the 10 years I've been going to Burning Man. It might literally that phrase that was popular a couple years ago, the Burning Man was better last year.
Mm-hmm.
Or Burning Man is going to be better last year. I think that might actually be the case, or not. But yeah, the danger element is not to be trifled with.
Awesome. Well, we still have some time before we actually have to start packing. So maybe we can check in a month or so. And if there's
Sure.
something else that comes up, anything that's on your mind right now that you want to make sure people know as they're planning or thinking about it?
Yeah. Let's see. Planning or thinking about going to the desert. I mean, I guess a reminder we're in a pandemic. I guess. I don't know. Have fun. Maybe you might die actually. So just like kind of prepare for that. Yeah. Halcyon, I will note in our last debate, I guess it turned more into a debate. Since then, I don't, there's been a clear divide in the Burning Man community. But I will note, after that, I got 3 death threats, one against my child too, and somebody called my job at Intel and tried to get me fired. That was a month ago. Isn't that crazy?
What?
Yeah, isn't that like because I went to the playa, because I had that debate, because of my views? Yeah.
There's definitely a pocket of the burned community that I have felt really disappointed me in terms of at the very core, we have a principle of radical inclusion, and I would think that that should give us a core need to find a way to respect the opinions that we don't hold. And fucking as the country and the world gets pulled into this crazy division, so a lot of burners did too. I'm so sorry that
I mean,
you
it
had to
is
do
what it
that.
is. We're all radicalized in our own way, but I just think it's fascinating to be, the argument has always that the argument to justify that is I'd rather kill you to protect you from potentially killing people metaphorically or by spreading this virus per se. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really dangerous line of logic.
Yeah, or I mean, I'm still mind boggled on the one where somebody, made a death threat to my child Ripley, who was 1 year old at the time. Yeah, that's some fucked up shit right there.
That's fucked up.
It's a stupid internet.
I mean, I'll say, like, I still believe that I made the right choice in not going to the Black Rock Desert. I still think that for many people, it was absolutely the right thing to do. And it seemed like it was a beautiful experience. I'm glad it all worked out. I feel like I had zero animosity towards those who went. And fuck, dude, that sucks. I'm sorry. That is so beyond the line of like, I mean, like getting stickers made of you with you crying, like
yeah, for sure.
That was a bummer, but like the death threat of your child is way past the line.
Yeah, it's burners, we're all crazy in our own way, right? Yeah, but anyways, I hope you go. I really do. You're gonna have a blast.
I'm gonna hit the shooting range a little bit, maybe work on my self-defense, skills. No, I'm right now, that is my plan, but I want to, just as I did with my first burn, research, make sure I can be radically self-reliant, make sure that it's, the right thing for me. But it sounds like it is. And I heard one thing that somebody warned me, like they say, be careful about encouraging people to go, because it is very much something that you need to make sure you are prepared and you can take care of yourself. So I'm going to be doing the same thing, making sure. But
you're going to thrive out there. You might actually be the most like good looking person on the playa this year, which is a shame for me because I think last trip was my time to shine. So it was fun while it lasted.
Well, I'm gonna get a T-shirt with that on it, I think.
You should.
I'm gonna get 2, one for each of us.
Perfect. I'll be
Awesome.
second best looking person.
Well, thank you for making some time and for sharing the truth and letting people and me know where things are at. I will continue to field questions and try to spread information. I am a little bit of an organizer. I can't help it. I made a little mailing list that I'm going to try to share information if people want to. You can go to wombat.hugnation.com. It's the Wombat Speaks. I don't know what I was thinking.
Sweet.
And so I'm going to just share the kind of, for people that want to know like where the map placement stuff is, or if there's information that is helpful for everyone to know, I'm going to try to share it through that means. But if you don't give a shit what other people are doing, then I guess I'll see you on playa.
Yes. I'll see you there. You'll be able to find me in my art car, and I'm sure I could spot you in all the pink miles away.
I can't wait. Thank you
Sweet.
very much, and I'll talk to
Sure.
you soon.
Stay cool, man.
You too.